she'll cry all the way to the bank.
Yeah. But I think it's something to be said too.
I love you, Jennifer.
Yeah. we forget, like, there are people attached to this. And I think the problem with, like, a lot of the call-out culture is that we forget, like, people want to, like, I guess humans are, like, they just are hungering for a war. You know, the world's, like, too safe to want a war.
It's witch hunt circa 2020.
It really is.
Because there's always a sort of mob mentality. There's like
that was the whole thing back in the day.
Yeah, no, it was a witch.
She's a witch.
It was a witch hunt.
She doesn't float or burn.
And nowadays it's like if you said anything controversial at any point and it's documented on the internet, someone could just pull it up and they could try to like destroy you and berate you and it's over shit and it's like
I'm fucked.
And the thing is, it's crazy because it's like
I had to destroy Facebook.
I'm gonna stand my ground.
It's so
stupid. That's the trick, is you stand your ground. You say
that's the thing. As soon as you apologize for some shit that you said in the past, you're done. See, in a weird way, like Trump has the blueprint, which is, and I hate to use him as an example, right? But he never fucking apologizes. It doesn't matter. He could say the craziest shit. He could grab all the pussies. Like he could repeat that. He could be as insensitive, and he's in probably the most scrutinized role that you could possibly be on this planet, President of the United States, and he's doing just fine. I mean, I guess if you know, that's debatable, right? But like, he still has a huge following, right? And it's just like you have to bring that level of like not giving a.
It's the bass. Oh shit!
Damn, we gotta edit the fuck out of this.
I don't know, man. We
shows it fun. It shows how raw we are.
Yeah.
Raw, authentic.
No, it's just bad.
Can't spell bass without putting the.
Can't spell bass without with an ace. No.
Introduce yourself.
Oh, introduce myself. Jessie Sims.
Jessie. That's the IG.
Jessie
Dasilva-Sims. Jessie __Sims.
Oh, we gotta do. What kind of handles are we talking about?
Whatever you want.
Oh, he's got multiple handles.
Well, I don't even know what handles. I can't remember what kind of handles.
Do you have so many?
Yeah, I have so many. So many in America, so many abroad.
Oh,
I don't know. Just Jessie. Just do that.
All right.
Find me on LinkedIn. I don't know.
They just put Jessie in LinkedIn.
There, Jessie.
One person's gonna show up. Just one person.
Just right after Madonna.
But thank you for coming through.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
You originally from Cali?
I was born in San Dimas. San Dimas,
Cali?
California. Yeah.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah.
Where is that?
Eventful. I don't know why you would be there.
Where's San Dimas?
So it's called the Inland Empire, so it's east of Los Angeles.
Okay.
So move closer, Jessie, so I can get your spot.
Okay, yeah. There we are. Yeah, so east Los Angeles, but I grew up in San Diego.
Okay.
You can tell because
I love San Diego.
You been?
Yeah, it's dope. The food's amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible.
The Mexican food, holy shit.
Well, that's San Diego food.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically Mexican.
So actually,
they said it's called
the fish taco.
San Diegan.
The fish taco was invented in like that part of California, like the battered fish taco.
Yeah,
it was invented like where I grew up.
Oh, that's
essentially, yeah. So the one claim to fame we have is like that, and like Filipino food, I guess, and like Asian food is other.
No, it's just a good ass food city. Like everything I had was amazing.
Yeah.
You've had balut?
Balut? I haven't had balut actually, or balut.
Whatever. I don't know how to say that because I'm pretty sure I'm saying that shit wrong.
Either way, I have not.
How many places have you lived?
Like San Diego, Los Angeles.
So you went from San Diego to Los Angeles?
Yeah, for school, then back to San Diego.
Then back to San Diego.
Went to New
York. He's doing random hand gestures that don't follow.
He said where the map is at.
You said New York and you went west. Like what?
Way over here. It was a 3D map. It's like it's multi-dimensional.
It's going around.
Okay, fair.
Wait, so how long you been living in New York now?
My New York anniversary is in January.
Oh damn, we got an anniversary.
8 years. What brought you to New York?
And it was either the military or this, and so I was like really
fuck that.
No, I was really like all about it. Like, well, kind of. I was like 80% there. Like,
New York is basically the military.
Yeah, I know. Right? It's just as regimented, living in a barracks for my first 2 years, essentially. I wanted to do something. And,
one room apartment.
Yeah. I lived in a warehouse actually, like it was like an artist commune kind of thing.
You're an artist?
Was it in Williamsburg?
Oh, well, yeah, of course it was in Williamsburg.
It's either Williamsburg or Bushwick.
You're an artist?
I was a professional dancer for a while. Yeah.
What?
You've been on anything we may know?
Yeah. So there's a Mad TV episode that makes fun of High School Musical.
Oh, that's dope.
So I was there. Yeah.
You played Zach?
No, I played number 24. I was like the white dude with like the really long hair. In 24. And,
We gotta pull that shit up.
I was right next to Jordan Peele actually. Like when he was on a cast member. Mm-hmm. Really nice dude, by the way. He was like super energetic. Like, yeah, we got this. Like we're gonna get this done. Like, yeah, like he was like asked me for help on like some moves, whatever. He's this really cool dude.
Damn, I got mad questions. I ain't even a fucking dancer, bro.
Oh, because you would dance.
No, I don't dance.
Not like that, yeah.
Boogie, yeah,
boogie?
of course.
Okay, I don't know what that.
Do you know the difference? I'm a chocolate. I got a green chocolate, that's all I got. That's all I got in my bag.
Yeah.
And the cha-cha song. I know about it.
You better.
Nah,
Parties.
Who else have you danced for aside from Mad TV?
Yeah, so I did Super Bowl 37. That was like my first like big thing. Like I was on the field.
Wait, you did that shit?
About the numbers.
Super Bowl 37.
I forgot.
Yeah,
I don't know shit about the numbers.
Carlos Santana was doing it.
That,
like,
that was a dope
Wait,
one.
what song was he doing?
He did a bunch.
So
So like him and Beyonce did Oye Como Va. And then Michelle Branch and him did like Game of Love, I think was another one. Like he did some classics too. Yeah, it was when she was like coming up.
With the queen?
Yeah, I like met her mom. And
Oh
stuff.
my
Yeah.
The moms.
Yeah, I met the mom. Yeah, yeah, she's pretty cool. Yeah. The dad had nothing to do with us. He was like, I don't want to talk to you guys.
You're white. I don't want to talk to you.
Not even that. No, just all the dancers.
He was like, I'm too rich for this.
Not even that. I just didn't want to talk to the dancers.
Really? That's interesting.
Who played the Super Bowl 37?
It was the Buccaneers and the Oakland Raiders.
Didn't see that game.
Yeah.
See,
I
I
don't even know
Super Bowl.
I know, right?
No,
I was saying, like,
I thought those were baseball teams.
Bro, that's more than 10
So
years
who
ago.
dunked it?
It was like 2003, I think it was.
Yeah, it was early
He ran the
2000s.
bases and dunked it.
I was like, Buccaneers in the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Bro, that has to be fucking a long ass time ago.
Yeah, the Bucks had a grand slam and slid into first, and yeah, it was a really big game.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's
Where
awesome.
the Buccaneers from?
Tampa Bay, Florida.
The Buccaneers.
The
Yeah.
Buccaneers.
The
That's such a
Buccaneers.
funny ass name, Buccaneers.
Yeah, the Redskins is a funny name.
And silence.
I think it's more like stereotypical and borderline racist than it's corny. Because I mean, like, you know.
Redskins is red.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a bad name. It's just like,
Yeah.
There's a lot of bad.
like what is it? Like Redskins? Like what else could it be? Like
But it's also like it wasn't like a ritual, like what they would do, like when they were like they would kill Indians, and then
Yeah.
So like, I think that's the connotation with that.
Yeah.
Some people want to get away from that.
Trial of Tears. So what did you
you mean
do
you said Trail of Tears?
Is it Trial of
He
Tears?
You said it's Trail.
It's whatever you think it is.
I said the Trial of
This
Tears.
is not Zelda, bro. This is
Bro, that's the name of the episode, The Trial of
It's
Tears.
a puzzle game. You know what I mean?
Next on Audible, Trial of Tears.
You're not gonna say that. Trial of Tears.
Yo, you imagine?
You gotta fight ghosts.
You're a teacher
You gotta fight
too.
the
He's
ghost
like,
in
all
the
right,
next
kids,
one.
it's time to teach you about the Trial of Tears.
Trial.
Oh my god.
And that's how the Redskins were made.
The end.
Super Bowl 36.
Wait, so how'd you get into dancing?
Girls.
That
Quick answer is yeah. It was
Was it
like,
literally just like step up?
not at that time. No, it was like
He's like, what's the fastest way to girls?
well, it was like you're at the 8th grade dance, right? And like all the dudes are like with the girls are the ones that are like on the floor dancing. I was like, oh, so I just put 2 and 2 together. And I was like, I should learn how to dance.
That's big brain shit.
I
I
know,
was
right?
dancing different in New York.
Yeah.
I didn't dance well.
Lights were
People
off.
not dancing. Back against the wall. Back against the wall. That shit wasn't enough to get put in the Super Bowl. I'll tell you that. That move wasn't get put in the Super Bowl.
We had to blur it out. They said, all right, we can do it, but we're gonna have to blur it out.
That's
What are they doing? I can't see above the waist.
So you was dancing, and they were like, "Oh, nah, I want that guy because he can dance." Did you like battle people?
Yeah, I mean, like there's a lot of like break dancers, like,
You were hip hop.
yeah. I started off in hip hop and then I branched off and did other things. a lot more scholarship money. Like once you get into like ballet and jazz, there's like no dudes like in those arenas. Whereas like
so you're like the golden child when you're doing that sort of
kind of So something like that, yeah. So
we're all golden children.
Of course, we all are. We're all the golden boys.
When did you stop fucking with it? It was just grew out of it, or what happened?
You about to dance right now?
Did you hurt your ankle?
Well, tell us your dance journey, like from beginning to end. Just like
so, a friend of mine was starting a dance team. It was really just like a bunch of like break dancers, and then.
What are you breaking?
I used to. I can't do it now. Like I might be able to throw out a flare, but that's asking a lot.
Once after a 6 step, that's it.
That's it.
Stop pose.
There you go. I mean, that's
my 6 step.
That's a lot more. You know, a lot more than people can do. But yeah, it was just that, and then after the first year, I became like lieutenant or captain or whatever of the team, and then just kept getting better and getting scholarships.
Like fucking step up, bro. Like
they had ranks.
Like you got served.
That's how you know they were nice. They had ranks. It's like, nah, son, you're still private.
Well, it's like you're like it comes from like the drill teams where it's like high school dance teams spins off of like the drill team, and so that's the lingo that they have, like
makes sense
related to like cheer and all that kind of stuff, and so that's why you have like that hierarchy. And then then got offered scholarships, got asked to like do ballet at different dance studios, and then
were these local dance studios or dance studios everywhere? Like how does that whole scholarship process work? Like how do you get known? How do you get recognized? Like what is the process?
I mean, if you have a dick, you get one right away. They're like, oh, you're a dude, and you can put one foot in front of the other. You got a scholarship. Like,
okay, and then who are these people? Like, do they approach you? Do you approach them? Like, how is it? How does it?
If everyone wanted to get discovered,
scout you, right?
Well, if nowadays, like when I was coming up, like in the SoCal like dance scene, like Boogie Zone was like a big deal. It was like the Facebook of like the dancing, like
it's a place.
Videos.
It's a website.
It was a website. Yeah, Boogie Zone. I don't know if it's still around or not. Like I'm out of the game for a while, but like
it's around.
It's like that was the way if you wanted to like promote yourself. They had like in hip hop, there were like these dance contests, like Busta Groove was a big one. Yeah,
I had a similar idea behind it.
Yeah.
So did the captain of the dance team have like a hot girlfriend, but he was a dick, and then a new guy came in and take the captain's girl?
Oh, it's just
because she liked him better, right? And he was more real. And then they said, we got to take it to the streets.
The real street.
Keep it real street. Everything is real street.
Keep it real street, son.
And fucking Lil Kim like drives by and like undoes like her window, whatever. Are you guys keeping it streets? Yeah, we are. I was like, all right.
They turn their hat away. They turn their hats not all the way backwards, but not all the way to the side, but kind of like this, like
Depends the time of day when like the sun is hitting you. Like it just follows.
Oh my god!
You have some guy out of nowhere just drops cardboard out of nowhere, just drops.
I wish I was on the
Mad dog people.
California dances be wild. Like New York dances is okay. California dances.
Oh damn! You said that real low.
When I say okay, I mean because we follow a trend while California dancers are like trying to break out of the trend, in my opinion. Like I don't know New York dancers that will do some type of like Jamaican dance, something like that, and then go do jazz. Whereas I can see a California dancer saying, yo, this hip hop stuff is cool, but I want to kind of dive into ballet, I want to dive into jazz. We also stay in the basement. So.
Well, I think there are different like venues for that as well. So in like the industry, like in LA, like you're not going to really diverge too much from jazz or hip hop. There'll be some combination of or hybrid of the two. But if you want to get into like dance theater, then you'll see more experimentation, more dance. Rennie Harris.
Praise dancing and shit.
Yeah, like Rennie Harris, he did Roman Jules, which is a hip hop version of Romeo and Juliet, and it's all breakdance style, but there's a lot of ballet elements and like house elements. Yeah.
Yeah, never heard of it either.
Yeah.
Roman Jules on fire.
Roman Jules. Yeah, it's really good. He won a lot of notoriety for his production. So like dance theater is its own thing. Like if you want to get into like more esoteric dance genre and stuff like that.
The money.
Word of the
Not the
day,
money.
esoteric.
No, money's in industry. Money is in like concerts and YouTube and movies and stuff like that.
Oh shit, for real?
It's all Los Angeles, yeah.
Yeah.
Or mostly Los Angeles. Yeah.
You know my favorite dancer is? Let me step up. What's the nigga's name?
My name's Jessie, by the way.
Oh, it's Jessie. That's your favorite.
My favorite dancer is Jessie. It was Adam something.
Adam something.
I don't remember his name.
That's super helpful.
Yeah.
He was in Step Up 2.
Probably some.
Bro, those aren't the movies that you watch the sequel to. Like I used to watch the first one. That's
you see 2,
it.
3, and 6?
No, I saw Adam something, and I know.
Yeah, I don't know.
So okay, so
Adam Levine.
so dance
That's Maroon
studios.
5.
So dance studios are offering you scholarships, right?
Yeah, I mean, pretty
Or
much.
different entities are so. So what's the next step from that? So like,
Well,
where do you go next?
Producer.
well,
Vagina.
from there, that actually didn't become too much.
Was it flown? It didn't come from the dancing?
Well, because I just wasn't as assertive as I was.
He was in the,
Oh, you
his
were
story
talking
started in the 8th grade.
The final story.
I just was very shy. I wasn't used to like that kind
The
of
spotlight. So
communication.
you kill this shit, and then you're like,
Yeah. Well, I like a thing like.
Alright,
Well, one ism I had like that I had to break out of was like my head would be down when I was performing, and so people would tell you like put your head up, like
put your head up, smile.
smile, like do all that
Chin
kind of
up,
stuff like that.
I
Yeah.
know.
It's showtime. It's showtime.
Showtime. Swinging on the 8 train.
Yep, basically.
But like after like the trajectory is like you want to join like a dope like dance company, like Culture Shock or something, or like Formality, which is I was on, or like Unity, which is another one that I was on, and then like
Captains and lieutenants and shit.
well, not even that. At that point, it's like you want to be the best dancer choreographer on that, and so the choreographer, the director has to like put you on, and then from there, like you want to get an agent. Like that's the SoCal way.
I thought the movies were just making this shit up. This shit really be happening, bro.
Yeah, like
That's fucking. My mind is blown. You know, we did in New York. We fought.
oh yeah, you just like we skip the dancing.
No, I'm pretty
Fuck.
sure there's I mean,
Name somebody.
that doesn't mean
one of
anything.
my
Name
cousin
the
woman's friend is like.
And
was
Buggy.
I'm there's
And Buggy
plenty.
from the Mount Boys.
There's plenty, bro. It's
Yeah.
the city of
It's
8
a
million
city.
people. There's
You name them.
oh, I don't
I'm not
know.
asking a dancer to name a dancer. You name a dancer.
Why do I need to? I don't follow
Chris
dance,
Brown.
but this
Chris
thing,
Brown's from VA.
Okay, whatever.
but this thing exists everywhere. Like it's.
I
You know,
didn't
it's
say it
different.
didn't. What I'm saying is, it's a very different. I know more dancers from LA than I know from New York because of that New York culture. There was the New York culture was surrounded about the gritty, kind of like fight your way to the top kind of thing. Where LA sounds like you have to like amass yourself inside of a crew and then kind of build that crew up. New York was about I'm gonna fight for self and I'm gonna make myself look good. The Brook Up, Bone Breaking, Harlem Shake, all that shit is all New York shit. Name a dance in LA. Name any other dance.
Well, you know, I'm not
There
a
is
dance
none.
person.
There is
I don't
none,
know.
but most
There's
of
a
the
lot in
dances are
Fresno,
LA.
like a lot of the popping and locking.
Ghost
from
Rides the
Fresno.
Whip?
Let's listen to the dancer.
I mean, well, it's just one aspect is, but like the popping and like the locking and like lofting and stuff like that. Well, maybe not lofting, but that comes from Fresno area. It's like electric boogaloo. Like a lot of that stuff will come from the Fresno area. But you're right. Like what's an LA dance move? Like it's all just like it just hip hop was like party dances, and then it got commercialized and put into like commercials and music videos where you took party dances and then like put them in sequence,
Right.
and then like people sort of like had like a formula for it. And
Yeah,
it's just
you
kind of
just
like
give
hip hop
it-
is
give it
this
a beat,
thing.
give it a count.
Yeah, and then it became its own thing. So it's like not even like hip hop anymore. It's like just commercial dance.
Which was the first music video to have dances, like professional dances?
Oh my god, bro, that's history lesson.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
Years.
Probably
you
like,
know?
I assume Michael
You
Jackson.
Googled
Was
it?
it like Paula?
Abdul?
Um,
Paula
yeah.
Abdul had music, had dances on her video first?
Yeah.
I mean,
I wouldn't be
really,
surprised.
I imagine there's.
I'm pretty sure she was the first one to have like
Are you
professional
pretty sure you Googled this
choreography.
already? Or are you
I'm pretty sure because I love the 90s or I love whatever the 80s,
Oh,
70s.
spoke
song.
about it.
I love the 90s, 80s, 70s.
70s.
That's mad different decades,
Whatever the
bro.
fuck she's decade she's from.
What? I love the 90s, but also the 80s and 70s.
I could be 100% fucking wrong because
You are.
I don't know.
No, I think you're...
I could be right.
Well, when did like Paula Abdul have her hit? I guess would be
Think
the
about
question.
it. Just think about MTV.
And then, but because my first thing
Damn
would be
right.
Michael
Damn right.
Jackson, like Thriller would be like
The
or my-
first?
yeah.
No way. He was dancing way before Thriller.
But like for like
Those-
having an ensemble, like yeah, he had Billie Jean, which like, was a breakout. That was like 82, was it, or 84, something like that.
I thought the big thing with Thriller was that it was like a fucking movie.
Yeah, Thriller was a
Yeah.
15-minute...
But even just the
Yeah,
album,
dance
like that was his like there was Off the Wall where he was like dancing, but like to have like actual choreography and like people with him. Like I think it was something like Thriller.
Did Beta come out before or after Thriller?
It was after. I think that was Bad. So Thriller came first, and then Bad came second. Yeah, and then Dangerous was after that.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. But I feel like that Fallout News is correct. I mean, we don't have facts here. We don't care.
We could Google that shit.
So it doesn't even matter. We don't got.
Yeah, you can Google it.
We probably should.
You can Google it.
I'm just more curious about. So all right, San Diego,
Jamie.
Cali, back to San Diego, New York, and then now you're here. New York was the last stop.
Yeah, that's last stop. Yeah.
When you go abroad, do you battle people?
Ha! You know,
Because I do.
I was in Florida
purpose.
like last year, and yeah, I did battle someone.
You
Yeah, like it was a big dance place.
gotta go to other countries and make it seem like your country's more superior than theirs.
Absolutely.
Right,
When I was like 18, I went to France, and like there's a big b-boy scene in France, and yeah, I did battle some people.
Oh, outside of the US?
Yeah,
Like in Japan?
they France.
They
They wore me out. They were like they were so good, like they were
Oh, they were
ridiculous.
killing you.
They were killing it. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna do a few moves and walk away.
The twins are from France.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Which friends?
Last twins.
That's
Yeah, from like what I know in breakdancing, like Americans aren't even like the top in breakdancing. It's
Not
like
anymore.
Japanese,
Japan.
Koreans, French.
The Koreans at
Was
the same
Japan
time because we
Korea?
knew, like,
Yeah.
well, they have like a time limit in Korea. Like you have to be like in the military by like 24.
Yeah,
So your breakdancing career is like
short.
Yeah, short.
So
So
you
you gotta
go
get it all
super
in.
Oh,
hard.
you have to be in the military.
you have to be in the
Yeah,
military by 24.
compulsory.
Yeah.
But a lot of countries are like that. Like Israel's like that.
Yep.
There's a few
Gotta
countries
do
like
years
that.
there.
Like you have to join the military.
Yeah, 'cause they're still at war technically.
Yeah,
Like, there's
they
no-
are still.
They just have only an armistice. They don't have a peace deal. They just have a war. Yeah.
I actually went to the border and all that. I went
You
to
did the
Korea.
DMZ?
Yep, went to the DMZ.
What was that like?
It was quiet.
Tell the story.
But it was like
No, tell the story from the beginning. Because
no, I already told the story last one. I don't want to go.
Oh, you told on the podcast or you told it to us personally?
I'm pretty sure I said it on. Did it on.
Dique, he said it on the podcast or to us
Yeah,
personally?
I'm pretty sure.
The story about the Korean border shit.
I'm pretty sure I did it on the.
Oh,
podcast.
yeah,
I definitely
that was
did it
on
last
the
time.
podcast, yeah.
Oh, all right.
So I'll give you the abridged version. Basically, I went out there and visited my friend, and it was amazing time. But I went to the DMZ tour through the JSA on my own,
Yeah.
and it was dope. We went through like a tunnel, and that's when they informed us about all the tunnels that existed between North and South Korea, and some that still may exist. Like, you know, every now and again they still demo them. They'll find them and they'll demo them. And then we went to the DMZ, and then we went to the Blue Room where you could technically go into North Korea. It was dope. It was very quiet.
Yeah,
It was,
I can imagine.
it was very quiet. It's very uneasy. But there's a part where you heard like North Korean propaganda music that was being played, and they would just tell us like just a little sort of like war games and things that they still play. Like one time sometimes they'll find like drones from North Korea. They didn't talk about too many things that they do because I'm pretty sure they do shit too. But one thing that they did was that they told me one time that they actually played like pop music, like American pop music,
Really?
to the on the other side, just like they played like North Korean propaganda music. It was just interesting. It was tense, but it was relaxing. Like a lot of times when you see like videos or pictures of like the border, you'll see like a sea of North Korean soldiers doing like the cadence and things like that. But when we went there was only one soldier there. There's just one soldier, and apparently they only come out and show out when they know.
Just about to kick off.
Not when they know shit's about to kick off, but when they know someone's importance about to come. Like, if the president's gonna come, they fucking show out. Like, 50 soldiers come out of nowhere. But otherwise, it's just quiet.
Yeah.
It's
fucking gnarly.
You been traveling a lot? You traveling around the world?
It's been a while. It's like last year, or no, this year, I went to Italy with my girlfriend. And, yeah, that was really dope. Like, it was an amazing country. Like,
Does she dance?
she
That's
taps.
fire.
She taps.
2 dances together?
Yeah.
Step up.
That's how it happened. And then you gotta go couple to couple. You gotta go like take us to the streets.
How many different countries have you been
That's
to?
like I met dancing.
England, Portugal, France, Spain, Germany, Czech Republic.
19.
Probably 8 or 9, something like that. Yeah.
Which is your favorite one?
I don't know.
Top 2.
You can't say America.
Well,
Top 2. New York.
yeah, New York. Brooklyn. Brooklyn's number one. I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah,
Like,
it's hard.
Italy was pretty dope, but like it was kind of sad too because like you don't realize like in America like you really do have a lot of like opportunity to like do stuff. Like whereas like I met engineers in Italy who are working at an ice cream store, and it's like fuck. Dude,
What?
like, yeah,
I always
like,
wanted to hear the side of the story.
Yeah, like
what?
I always wanted
Yeah.
to hear the side of the
people were
story.
like, dude, like you were so lucky to be in America. Like I'm trying to go there. I'm trying to get out. Like a lot of young people like they have like master's degrees and they're just trying to like there's no jobs in Italy, so they're trying to like get out.
Oh,
But it's like,
shit.
and it's like a country just like full of tourists. Like their whole economy is like not a whole economy, like a big part of their
It's
economy is
based on
tourism.
tourism.
Yeah, like it's just a lot of it is that tourism,
Agriculture.
food, wine, that kind of stuff.
That's fucking trash.
Yeah, it's.
No innovation.
I mean, there is, but it's just they have so much old bureaucracy and old way of doing
It's
things,
just stuff.
and it's just kind of stuck.
It's just hard. People don't realize like America is really sort of like where innovators all over the world sort of congregate. So it's like it just attracts just so much. So we do really have it good.
We do
in
really
that
have it.
regard.
But to answer the question, probably well, like Portugal.
America!
Yeah, probably Portugal.
America!
Yo, we need to play Hulk Hogan's theme song in the beginning and just fucking.
American. Yep.
Nah, it's not all good here.
Yeah,
There's some good shit. Yeah, there's some good shit.
It's not open at all, bro.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say about Portugal?
Oh, Portugal. I mean,
Facts
just
are
sentimental
facts.
reasons, just for family reasons. Like I went there when I was young, and like I went there. And
You're Portuguese?
I'm Portuguese. Yeah. I know you couldn't tell blonde hair,
Obrigado.
blue eyes. Yeah, exactly. Obrigado. But yeah, like it was after like my grandparents like
Cool.
passed and stuff, and so like experiencing it and like seeing the history. Like my great grandfather like was one of like the railroad commissioners, was like a pretty big deal, and like his name was like on the wall and like
It's always
so like
grandfather is either the boat, the shipping company, or the railroad, bro.
Yeah.
When I speak to people who has wealth, like my case,
oh,
they were shipping.
I don't have any fucking one.
I'm not talking. I didn't
Actually,
that.
No, my granddad actually
shipping
did
company.
work in the railroad. He was
He
like
was in the railroad?
he was a railroad guy, but this is like northeast. Like,
They
like engineers of that
they
era?
made them. Yeah. Basically, that's basically.
I mean, it was just one of those things back in the day, particularly like
That's what the money
2
was.
generations back. Like that was the mode of transportation. So it's like
car.
that was just the job. Even if you were a conductor or laborer, if you got a job in the railroad, pension,
Money.
you're
Easy.
good. You're
Yeah.
good.
Life.
You wouldn't have to worry about anything.
Nothing.
And that was the case, particularly in America, but also in Europe. Any place that had a rail line, you were.
And your wife was cheating on you with a chimney worker.
Whatever. You were cheating on her with the
an
tracks.
What?
Wait, wow.
You said
What?
the tracks?
I said with the tracks.
Oh yeah,
Just
the
like-
tracks.
the open road.
Just why an Asian specifically? That's
You don't remember? No, I'm
I don't remember. I wasn't alive then.
Beating them out. Nah, go ahead.
Oh, I see.
I
Trial
know
of Tears?
the Trial of Tears. The Trial of Tears.
Great.
Back in World War II, when the Chinese bombed Roosevelt Island.
Where? What was the was there a country that you went to that you were like, oh fuck?
George Bush, Washington.
When you like, oh, fuck what?
George Bush
I
Washington.
said that came here. Like,
George Bush Washington was the president. Obama invaded Poland.
Yeah, probably. Oh, what? What are we doing here?
When you went, what was the worst place you ever went to? You said
I don't know.
Brooklyn.
Yeah,
He's like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
what are you guys talking about? I don't know. Worst country I've been to. I don't know.
Be careful.
yeah.
I know.
We got listeners all over.
every travel agent said, all right, just make
He's like, well, Italy sucks.
All right,
What's
well,
next? No, like, damn.
We got listeners everywhere. I saw the specs, man.
What else? What was like a terrible country?
It's hard to say because, like, generally when you're traveling, it's like I feel like you only say it's a terrible country if you had a bad experience there. Like, even people that go to like poor ass, like depressed countries, they have a blast. Like, oh yeah, it's amazing.
Well,
Or, like the
not
person
Jamaica,
living there,
But it's also like you have the
Jamaica
money to do stuff.
Terrible. No, Puerto Rico looked bad.
Well, I mean,
Puerto Rico looked really bad.
bro.
I had a good time in Puerto Rico, bro. Fuck.
But I mean, given the
They
recent
don't open till 11.
events,
The entire Puerto Rico doesn't open till 11.
So everyone's just like paused?
All the stores are closed until you can't
11 what?
Well, it depends.
AM?
When they feel like it.
AM?
CM cornball.
Yo, this is gonna be a trash episode.
This episode is fire. I'm having mad fun. He's a dancer. We connected.
I'm having fun.
Wait till we battle. That's when the fun really begins.
Yeah, that's what
I don't
We're
think.
gonna battle on mic. This is gonna be just mad winning.
This is gonna be mad sound effects. We gotta make sound effects.
Oh!
Oh!
He just got served.
The streets.
We gotta keep it street.
Streets. Straight hard.
So I met Jessie through working a sales
streets?
job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
working the
Working the
sales
streets.
job streets.
Working
Yeah.
the corners.
What?
Working the streets. Yeah, we battled every day.
Did I battle him? Yeah.
In sales.
Every day.
Mm-hmm.
That was just
We
spit
both
sales
lost.
facts.
Wait, was it at the
Into your job.
Yeah.
spot in the city?
Yeah. I don't know if I should say the name. But
No,
Don't
no,
say the
you don't
name.
have to.
Don't say
it's
it.
trash. But whatever.
A place that is not the most responsible when it comes to the products and services they deliver.
We don't talk
yeah.
about we don't talk about our access here.
But I think when I met him, before that he used to work at for like another Wall Street place.
Yeah.
And I think around that time, like Wolf of Wall Street came out, so like he said that you used to work in an environment that was similar to that. Right?
Yeah. So
You work with?
yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio?
No, I wish. I wish I could go to those after parties. I worked at a bucket shop that I won't name the name because it has a reputable or like it's.
They can sue you.
Yeah, well, it doesn't exist anymore.
Bucket shop meaning like actual physical?
So a bucket shop is just a brokerage that
Alright.
like sells penny stocks. Essentially, like, they're kind of known for like pushing like
Bullshit.
you know, yeah, Wolf of Wall Street.
Exactly,
like,
son. Like exactly that.
I won't say bullshit, but like they have fun with the truth.
Yeah.
Put it that way. Like you call in 700 people a day. Or our friend Nick, we would like make a game of like calling 1,000 people a day, like 2 phones at a time. You know, you get people on the phone on both of them. You have to like respond to both
Make a
of them.
game. That's not fun. Fucking
Well, we had nothing else to do. It was either that or
Well, yeah. I mean, if you have no choice but to be there, I mean, I get.
yeah.
I
But that would bother me. I would be like, yeah.
What surprised me was just the type of stuff that you and Nick used to tell us about how y'all used to have to sell.
Yeah.
Just like how aggressive you would have to be, and
Oh,
just
yeah.
some of the rudest shit you would say, but it would fucking work. Like it was like you'd have to speak to people like that.
Yeah.
Because y'all were calling people that had mad money, right?
Yeah, some people like would be like, "Don't call me unless you give me 20x on something." I remember one time it was like the end of the day, and I'm just like, just had it, and this guy's like being a dick to me on the phone, and I just say like the most vile things. I'm like, what? I wish I said, but I was like, yeah, like I'm gonna dig up your mom and like have sex with her body and things like that, and then he would come back at me, and it was like dozens, like it would just be like we'd be doing dozens or whatever, and then after a while he's like, man. So what are you selling? And it's like, well,
You passed the
you
test.
passed the test, like the
Trial
grandmaster.
of Tears.
Yeah, trial of tears. You passed the trial of tears.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you selling? I was like, I'm selling stock. I was like, I don't really buy stock. I buy real estate. It's like, well, have you heard of REITs, real estate investment trusts? And then we actually had an actual conversation about investment. Like, I like.
So you guys
all
sold
that.
REITs?
Well, REITs is one thing.
One of the things you sold. Okay.
But like most of the time, it was like biotech stuff.
Okay.
Like vet them, like do the money on the market, and then like pitch them this
He
particular.
lived how I would live if I was white.
Oh yeah.
You think?
You can call people and tell them that you're going to dig up their mom and fuck them.
Or say,
So what are you selling?
Man, what are you selling?
So what do you have in stock?
Like they just picked up the phone and just started roasting each other, and they're like, "Hey, what are you selling? Okay, yeah, I'll buy that."
Do you have a specific pitch you have in mind that you could just get to the top of the head? That you knew you always said all the time?
All right, I picked up. Okay, I picked up right now.
Yo, right.
Hello.
Oh man, I'm not. Now I'm on the spot. Like you gotta like be on the zone or whatever for it. Like it would be something to the effect of like real quick, or a quick call. I wanted to talk to you about this amazing opportunity. Get a pen, and pencil, and write this down. The ticket down, and then
You're telling them to grab a pen and pencil.
yeah, you're telling them like, here, real quick, call from this firm, yada yada yada. Here, get a pen and pencil. or pencil and paper, and then write down this ticker. Let me tell you about the stock. Bum, bum, bum. You want to take 5 or 10,000 shares today, and just say like you're only doing this bull stuff. Like, oh, I'm not in the market right now. Bullshit. Like you're like I have you on my screen and you're lighting up like a Christmas tree. Like there's all these like little like rebuttals like I have to talk to my wife. It's like, well, do you talk to your wife like when you want to like surprise her for like a gift or stuff like that? You would talk like, like do you talk to her when you have to take a shit? Like do you talk to her like you just kind of put them down a little bit and just like make them like why can't you like do something good for your wife? Like you have to talk to her about like giving like you poke their insecurities and like. And particularly, like, people who identify, like, their wealth to their identity.
Yeah.
Like,
it's easy to manipulate.
Exactly. They feel more sensitive towards that, or they feel like they're more missing out based on that. Like, I'm only
asking Ferrari. Fuck that shit.
I'm not even, like, it's probably, it's probably a 2015 Ferrari. Like, why don't you, like, upgrade and, like, get that money and get, like, a 2021 Ferrari? Like, it's kind of like, put them on that. I was like, look, I've called you so many times, the things you keep missing it. This one went up 3x. This one went up 4x.
Fucking idiot.
Are you gonna get on a 5x? No, like you say, like, look, no disrespect, but you're an idiot. I love you, but you're an idiot. You can call them. You go like, oh, I'm fucking. I think you're fucking stupid. Like they like promote you to like, kind of rib them because you want talk shit, and get the money, get out, move on to the next. Like that's their whole thing. It's like, just like it's all execution, but it's a dinosaur because no one wants to pay those fees like you would in the 80s anymore.
And they see your call coming because they have.
Well, it came in as block number, so it was all zeros. So
like,
a lot of people,
who's calling me?
Yeah, who's calling me? Yeah,
Nobody has a household anymore. Bro.
That's so interesting because like where I work at, we get calls all the time, but how they approach us because like we're also a firm as well. They're like completely different. Like they're like super nice. They're always like trying to appeal to the fact that they're always like, okay, you work in finance, you're a smart guy too. Let me try to sell you this thing, and then they talk jargon, and then you trade jargon, and they're like, okay, yeah, so are you interested in this thing? It's all like, yeah, we'll send you an email. It's just interesting, the difference between the two, and like, just based on your target audience, how you communicate with them.
So am I poor because you guys never called me?
We don't solicit business, we don't call people. People call us.
Yes.
I'm poor.
Yeah, I don't get calls either.
Nobody calls me from a random number.
I call people.
I want to buy some penny stocks.
It's only a penny, bro. You don't got pennies? Come on, man. What the fuck?
It's not literally a penny.
So how much is it gonna cost? $100.
Pennies? That's why I'm saying pennies.
Just pull it out, just like a little baggie with little pennies on the counter.
I know,
all
right?
I'll take
Bag
5
of coins, like
5 stocks.
The olden days.
But that's
I would like 5 stocks, please. That's fine.
It's cute. All right, 5 stocks for 5 pennies. Well, that's $25 in commission.
That is
That's what they would get.
crazy.
Is like it would be like percentage
You
commission.
only could pay the commission, right?
Their model was that the whole industry as a whole like is moved to like a wrap fee, so it's consulting because you can charge for consulting without like investing.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays it's more like a wrap fee. Like we charge one fee for consulting. You can call whenever you want. Like we'll give you advice and talk you through stuff, and we'll also do the execution. There'll be some minor transaction fees because the firms all charge the transaction fee, but you're getting the advice with it. Like,
so you work for a broker dealer?
Yeah, I use for a broker dealer. Yeah.
Okay.
What are you doing now? Like what are you?
I still work for a broker dealer. I work for a large investment bank.
Oh, do you? Okay.
And you're studying you studied to take
The GMAT, yeah.
GMAT?
Yeah, I'm gonna do something a little different.
What's the GMAT?
It's for a business school. So you gotta like it's their
trying to get that
Trying to
MBA.
get that MBA, yeah.
Be like Michael Jordan, but with a business degree.
It got really
If you
quiet.
play basketball and was tall.
Yeah.
You gotta just dance your way to the top, bro.
Yeah, your head spin on
How do you do?
Yeah, so he used to also I'm assuming you still do. If you don't, I'm hoping to encourage you. You used to fuck with comedy.
Yeah.
I went to one of his stand-ups.
You did,
I
yeah.
say Smash Brothers, but
Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
you film comedy? You say no jokes. I've been the one.
Yeah, I
Pulling
haven't done it in a
this
while.
off.
I haven't done it in a while, but I'm like getting more motivated again. To like, man, like right now it's just all about the test. Like,
You
once that's
write
done-
or
Yeah, I write and I perform. I did a lot of improv. Like your entrance is like an improv, and then I just saw a lot of bad improv, and I'm like, oh, this is really fun. Like if you're into it, and it's a good tool. But I like sketch. I like working out ideas, and I like stand up too. But I like sketch more because like there's more you can bring more absurd things in and heighten, because now you can have props and you can have more people come in to add different flavors, whereas like stand-up, you have to be a very well-rounded person or a very particular personality to make it work, whereas I'm a little lazy and I just want to bring in other people. Like,
It's more...
Just do this, this, and this, and let's get it done.
Stand-up is more jazz, and like, I'd say sketch comedy is more like, sort of, like more, not more formulaic, but in the way, like you like plan it out. Because like I mean, the sense is that like stand-up is like you have routine, but you know you have to read the crowd. People say shit. You have to improvise. Whereas like a sketch comedy, it's like you just have an idea, you build it out, and that's it.
Yeah,
Like, huh?
What does that have to do with jazz?
Because jazz, you have to improvise.
Yeah, there's level of improvisation that you have to. I mean, that's true to an extent, but I think it depends on the person. Like, for example, Louis C.K., every pause, every like vocal intonation is planned.
Yeah,
all planned to a T. So Louis C.K. might not be that, but you're right in the respect of like, all right, this crowd's not feeling this material. I'm gonna go switch. I'm gonna do something else. Like, yeah, there's very much. Let's give them the hits. Like, there is very much a jazz element towards that.
I think it's different if you're an established comic. So like, if you're like a Louis C.K., people are coming to see Louis C.K. So you could afford to be like, okay, I'm gonna just give you the Louis C.K. shit. But if you're just like a regular comic, where I see they improvise a lot more and they read the room because they have to.
Yeah, the tools are a bit sharper because of that. Because they have to.
How'd you get into comedy?
I was always a class clown, I guess. Like my first day at Catholic school. You know, people come up in the front of class. Well,
first day in Catholic school, I had sex. So like, in the stairwell.
You just gotta lay down a wall, say, look, this is who I am, and I'm just boning in the stairwell. As a kindergartner, you know.
I know someone got expelled for that from my school.
For fucking a nun?
No, not a nun, but like, fucking around in the stairwell.
Oh, wow.
That's impressive. That's high risk. That's a high risk move.
That is a high risk.
That's a high risk.
That's a reward.
Bro, that's top
high risk, high reward move.
I mean, the stories for that are pretty.
Fucking in the staircase.
That was time flies, B. Whenever you hear somebody, just book that shit. So never get caught.
Needle wear pants now.
What?
He's like, what are you doing here?
But how old were you when you got into it?
Probably, I was in college. So I went to the Groundlings first in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
That's where Will Ferrell and it's like an improv school, but they do like sketch comedy, and I took a few classes there. And I took sketch writing, and I did really well. I was like, I think there's something to this, and then I went into like a bit of a downward spiral, and then like.
How you did well?
Because they, in one of the classes, we would like put jokes on the board, and then we'd vote whose we liked, and mine just kept coming up, or we would put our sketches in the middle, and then we'd all read them. And then we'd say, which one do we like? And then it's blind. And then, all right, who wrote that one? And my hand would go up a lot of the time.
How many people were in the class?
8.
2.
Oh, so out of
keep it light. You
did well because 8 people said that shit was.
No, it's like all people who are already like theater majors and like are already studying it.
Gotcha.
And I wasn't a theater major, and I just came in because I wanted a theater major.
Wasn't 8 of you, bro. It was 8 of me. Forget it.
So
it wasn't us. We don't know what the fuck.
We probably would put it.
It'll be like, we don't understand how to read this book.
It's upside down. It's good. So yeah, it was sort of that way, and then I came to New York and said, fuck, I'm going to do what I want to do. And then I joined the Pit, started doing improv at the Pit.
His name is Mad Pit. Every his name Mad Scenes that I know. And I heard of. So the Pit is another comedy club.
Yeah, the People's Improv Theater. Yeah.
And you fucked that shit up when you got there.
Yeah, I did. Crushed it.
Fucking
absolutely crushed it.
So how many times have you done stand up? Like,
I don't know, probably 12 times.
Oh wow, that's actually
that, bro.
Something like that. I don't know about that. Like, I did a few shows like Broadway, like comedy club, and then some like open mics and stuff. And I was like, oh, this is so brutal. Like, it's terrible. I was like, I kind of like sketch better. I like kind of like the festivals. No, I haven't been booed, but I haven't like gotten a raucous applause. Like, I've had good applauses, but I haven't been like rock the house down. Like,
he's funny. Like, that's a good joke.
Yeah.
All right, bro.
We're not gonna kill you now.
Yeah.
So what does your process look like though for that specific
for comedy?
For stand up specifically.
Stand up. So everything starts in one sentence and it starts bulleted, and then from there you massage the premise and say, okay, well, we're gonna figure out like what is funny about this, and then structure it in like, okay, how does this? is this a one-liner? Is this something you can do like a rule of three? Is this something you can play the opposite on? And then from there you can like, okay, well, how does this all look formulaically? What's the rhythm look like? How does it go? Like, how does it flow as a whole? Do I need to put this in or should I take it out? Like, is this topical? Is this dead? How do I, like, where do I stand? Like, there's a lot more, like, structure that, like, I think if you say, I have to make the greatest joke from this, I think that's always a terrible place to start. I think the best place to start is, what's funny about this? What do I like about it? Mm-hmm. Play with it. And then from there, like, say, okay, well, how can I maximize this? Okay, and then okay, well, what's a different way I could do this as well? What's something that was not my first goal for that? And then from there, you say, okay, well, how does it feel when I put it before or after this? And then you're playing with structure. And then from there, you can like add layers. And like it's much more. It's very much like a croissant. Like a croissant has a lot of layers to it. You keep folding and adding butter and folding and adding butter. And like, I think that's the best process for that, for like creating comedy, for stand-up in particular, because it's premise-based. Whereas sketch is more about message. You have to be able to write what you're trying to say in one sentence, and then you can come up with infinite ways of like heightening it. Mm-hmm. And like for example, there's one sketch I wrote where the Make-A-Wish Foundation, this girl's wish was to pull the lever on the electric chair for someone. Like very dark, you know, like
that's funny.
Super dark, you know. And then the joke was that it just kept not working. And so you have this girl crying, like, oh, like my wish isn't coming true. And it's like the guy's in the chair, like, what about me? like I'm gonna die. It's like, well, she's gonna die too. Like, and like, how dare you like make this about you? Like, this guy's about to be like, and then like Christmas lights come on. It's like electrical's not working. Sorry, like they just like it's a very like you start with something very dark, like you know, Make-A-Wish is to pull the switch on electric chair, and then how do you build on that? Oh, what if a girl is sick? And that's how you justify that.
Is that how you started that specific sketch?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Okay.
What would be like the worst thing to ask for a Make-A-Wish Foundation? Is, I don't know, pull the switch on. Yeah, kill someone. You know, how do you do it? Well, if there's always something bad you want to do, make a kid do it. That's kind of the rule. It's like why South Park is around for so long.
Yeah,
because you make kids do it.
That's true.
And you feel better about that because kids are doing it. You know, but she couldn't die. So that's one thing we realized is that like. The first time we did that sketch, like, we couldn't let her die. Like, she died, and then people were like, oh, and then there's no laughter. But then we switched it to, you know, again, and then so we turned to the audience, and we started pulling audience, like, hey, you want to come up, seats warm, you know, like, to get other people, and that's how we end the sketch. Like, so kids can't die, but kids can tell the truth, and that's kind of like the rule of comedy.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any sort of...
Puppies.
What?
Everyone loves puppies.
Everyone
loves puppies.
Just kill them, you have a sketch.
No,
Just
don't
make
kill
the kid. Make the kid.
Oh,
yeah, you want to get canceled?
The puppies can kill people.
Make the kid.
Can't kill them.
Puppies are kids.
All right. So who dies
Puppies
first, the
are
kids or
kids.
the puppy? If you have to choose one, who dies?
Kids.
Yeah, you're right.
Puppies can't die.
Puppies can't die.
Can't kill a puppy.
Puppies can
They're
eat the
innocent.
kids. Yeah.
Puppies can eat.
Puppies
Puppy
Can
can
eat
eat a
kids.
kid, but you can't kill a
Can't
kid.
kill
That's
You can't
sad.
kill a puppy.
Yeah.
That's a sad state
kill
of
a puppy.
affairs. That's a sad state of affairs. Because there's no way I'm buying a fucking puppy over a child.
People value puppies over fucking children.
That's sad. These
It is
people need
But
to
the
change.
comedy is like revelatory. Like,
That's
that
crazy.
reflects our society.
It would be funny.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
that's like, oh yeah, they can see
If
that.
the
That could
puppy
be
kills a
funny.
kid, it would be funny.
Yeah,
Where the kid kills a puppy.
because either way, the
We
kid's
got
probably
a dramedy.
the kid's probably drunk because he got eaten.
Dramedy.
And if a kid hurts the puppy, like he's a dick. The kid is a dick either way.
He's a sociopath.
Yeah, he's a sociopath either way.
That's messed up.
But the puppy's innocent. He's just defending himself.
But you're trying to break that tension. Like that's the thing in comedy. Is like you have something very serious and you're trying to break that tension. What's a way to build up tension and then break it?
Yeah, and they kill a kid. Just gotta kill him.
Yeah, kid's got to die.
Yeah, man.
Kid's got to die.
See, so rules can be broken.
Well,
What rule?
I don't know. Well,
Not killing kids.
Only
yeah,
if it's a puppy.
it depends who does it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think how.
Only if it's a puppy.
I mean, if you look at like,
So there's a will, there's a way.
yeah, like I mean,
Oh, the guy from 24.
I don't.
Jack Bauer.
Yeah, there was an episode where he had to kill a baby to save a million people. That's
Yeah.
where we got that joke from. Remember we was running with that joke for a while?
Mm.
And then we would ask how would you do it with something in the room? You remember that joke?
No, we had this thing in school where we just come up with like
Would you
different. It's like different scenarios. It's like, would you go to jail, solitary confinement for 10 years and come out the richest man in the world, or would you kill a baby to save 1 million people? Okay, if you did that, how would you do it? It's just like,
like
crazy scenarios like that.
Yeah, like Trolley Experiments.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I guess you can run the experiment and like.
But Jack Bauer actually.
He's like, I guess you could run the experiment.
Well, you can run the experiment, and like the interesting thing is the price. If you put a market system on, say, Trolley Experiments, like for example, like, all right, if you did 10 years in solitary
you
confinement,
get a TV show.
You get a TV show. Would that be worth it? Nah. All right, you get a TV show, and you're the most well-paid man, or woman, whatever, for that show. Maybe. And then I was like, okay, what if you're the richest person in the world, and you get your TV show, but you got to do 10 years solitary confinement? Okay. All right. Not the richest man in the world, but you're the second richest man in the world. Okay, probably still. Like, you like to see where the prices are of certain things.
Because it's a price for everybody.
Yeah, it's a price for everyone. Everyone has a price.
That's Ted DiBiase.
Diabetes.
Ted diabetes? No.
I guess that's like the most perverse thing, like when you get into like those kind of like logic games. Like, saying like uncovering like what are people's prices. Which goes back to sales too. It's like what price is good for you for this.
Economics.
And like it depends like what I position. So your anchoring is like very important when you enter a sales position.
What's one joke? What's one area of comedy you would never touch on? Like you're like, oh, not gonna go there. No, you're probably gonna say black people.
It's done well. No, it's done well. Like because you can still do the same thing and then just put it on its head.
Make it a little safe.
Yeah, like there's like. I mean, there was a funny joke where I think it was done at the Apollo or something. There's like this white guy who was eating yogurt or something, and then like he was talking to like another black person, and then he was like, like you owe me money. He's telling the white guy like you owe me money. He's like, I'll get it back to you. And then like he had this other guy, another black guy, who was saying the N-word for him, like for emphasis. And so it was like very funny because he wasn't saying it, his friend was saying it, and I was like, you kind of put on its head. He is saying it, but he's not. Like, and so it's like. You walk a line, and like so. Again, it just depends on execution. And like, if people laugh, then it's funny. It's like people will complain like, "Oh, that's not funny." It's like, "Oh, if people are laughing, then I'm getting those laughy emojis on the bottom of the thing. Like, I guess it's funny."
I think it was Patrice O'Neill. He's saying if you're doing comedy right, half the audience should be laughing and the other half should be horrified.
Yeah, have the arms folded and shit.
Yeah, just be upset. That's interesting. That's just an interesting way of looking at it because I think he was different. I think he was a different type of person because he was like a very not give a fuck type personality.
It's kind of a comedian's. I'm not saying Kevin Hart isn't a comedian's comedian, but he really thrived in the underground. Like he really liked, like you said, he liked being brash and himself, and like really valued. Yeah, like he really valued authenticity.
In my opinion,
he's the MF Doom of comedy.
In my opinion, the comedian is supposed to spark it's supposed to open your mind to a different view of things, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Make you see the stupidity, I guess, and
not even
the everyday things.
It's just to give you open-ended questions to thoughts you never thought you'd think about.
Yeah.
I think comedy is a good way of expressing controversial opinions in a way that people find palatable in a certain time, because any particular point in time, there's always like a sensitive topic. Sure. I think nowadays there are lots of it's kind of like a backlash.
Now.
Like people are sensitive now, but on the other end, there's sort of a backlash where people are being like extra brash. So it's kind of like that's kind of clashing right now.
Yeah.
But like every single point in time, like even going back to like Bob Hope shit like that. Like there's a way to like bring controversial things in a way that's palatable for people.
Yeah.
The most insensitive thing I've ever said in my life was to Jennifer Hudson.
What do you mean?
She had won a Grammy, and I said, Beyonce killed your family because you took a Grammy from her.
It's cold.
People laugh.
People laugh.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't. And then she saw my tweet. I didn't know she saw my tweet.
Did you tweet it at her?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Damn.
Hey, what happened?
She blocked me. She told me about myself, and she blocked me.
She told you about yourself? What'd she say?
They're very inconsiderate about what's going on, blah, blah, blah. You don't have a heart. And I
mean,
I felt bad. Because her family did that.
I mean, she'll
It's like her cousin and stuff, or, or something like that.
All of them.
Oh damn!
Yeah.
After she got the Grammy.
Oh damn! That's fucked. But she'll cry all the way to the bank.
Yeah. But I think it's something to be said too.
I love you, Jennifer Hudson.
Yeah. I mean, we forget, like, there are people attached to this. And I think the problem with, like, a lot of the call-out culture is that we forget, like, people want to, like, I guess humans are, like, they just are hungering for a war. You know, the world's, like, too safe. They want a war.
It's witch hunt circa 2020.
It really is.
Because there's always a sort of mob mentality. There's like
that was the whole thing back in the day.
Yeah, no, it's a witch.
She's a witch.
It's a witch hunt.
She doesn't float or burn.
And nowadays,
she's real.
and nowadays, it's like if you said anything controversial at any point and it's documented on the internet, someone could just pull it up and they could try to like destroy you and berate you and it's over shit and it's like
I'm fucked.
And the thing is, it's crazy because it's like
I had to destroy Facebook.
I'm gonna stand my ground.
It's so
That's
stupid.
the trick, is you stand your ground. You say
That's the thing. As soon as you apologize for some shit that you said in the past, you're done. See, in a weird way, like Trump has the blueprint, which is, and I hate to use him as an example, right?
But
he never fucking apologizes. It doesn't matter. He could say the craziest shit. He could grab all the pussies. Like he could repeat that. He could be as insensitive, and he's in probably the most scrutinized role that you could possibly be on this planet, President of the United States, and he's doing just fine. I mean, I guess if that's debatable, right? But like, he still has a huge following, right? And it's just like you have to bring that level of like not giving a fuck,
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of Democrats fail to realize is that there has, and I think that's the appeal for Bernie Sanders is he's still consistent, even when they say, "Oh, you support like Fidel Castro and all this," literally stuff is like. Well,
oh my God! You're touching on something so hard. I was like, even last election, like not going into the details about how he may or may not have been sabotaged, right? He's like, for example, like him, like Trump and Sanders, even though they're on different sides of the political spectrum, they sort of they appeal to the same demographic. They appeal to people who feel disenfranchised, who haven't been heard. So I'm like, yo, if you want the anti-Trump, you literally have it in Bernie Sanders. So it's like, that's interesting that you pointed that out.
But even is that the antidote? I think it's the answer we're trying to like figure out as an election. Is that the antidote to that?
I mean, we won't know. We won't know until like even if he becomes president, we don't know how it turns out. That's the thing about these things. We never know. We just make our best guess and go with it.
But I think it's interesting that like. If Russia's picked two candidates, it's Trump and Bernie to like go head to head as a means of creating unrest in our country. Like not to say they're the only country that wants to interfere in our election or influence our election or whatever. I think influence is a better word maybe. But I think it's an interesting point that they already have both sides have such aggressive followers.
Absolutely.
And like it might come to loggerheads like if those are the candidates. And I don't know, that's kind of my reservation about it, like too, is that.
I mean, I think it's already sort of at that point. I think regardless of who's running against who, like people are sort of firmly entrenched in what they believe, and I think it's beyond that point. And I mean, when it comes to influencing elections, it's something that major countries have done to each other. It's not like we're just victims. The United States has been doing it for however long. It's just the political game of nation states, trying to get what they want.
Well, I mean, it was like the whole Putin interfering with Hillary's campaign was tit for tat because when she was Secretary of State, she did his election. So all right, well, tit for tat, we're gonna play that game too.
Yeah, and he's like, fuck it, now I could be in power forever, like.
Yeah, he's not like
more or less,
Yeah.
Who would you say your top 5 comedians?
Top 5 comedians.
Dead or alive?
Dead or alive.
Oh man, all of his comedians not even dead.
Fuck, that's so good.
I know.
I mean, Richard Pryor is one of them. George Carlin was another one.
Okay.
You died?
No, really.
Yeah,
Yeah,
is that when we were in college?
Yeah, they're both passed.
Yeah.
You know,
he said alive, and he just said 2 dead people. No, but those are the 2 people I would
They're
think.
so iconic. Like
Yeah.
I think sometimes like the
They
measure
live
of
forever.
influence is like
David who?
David Frere. Is that what you said?
You said David Farr?
No one
No,
said
I
anything
didn't-
like that. I think it was
What?
just
I heard something, but
I heard you and David Farr.
no, I didn't say it. But
no, it was a mistake. Don't worry.
What?
What did you say?
Nothing was said, bro. Something was mumbled.
Something was
Jessie heard something else, and then you heard something else, and then y'all kept like. You ever
You
heard
built
like
on
waves
each other.
interact with one another, and it just
And then you said
they just
David Frere?
magnify one another, and then they just blows up. That's what y'all did.
It's a very engineering explanation of like how that
Dique,
waves.
the engineer.
Yeah.
Alright, so you use those are your 3.
So I would say Carlin.
Two.
Um,
David Farr.
Oh yeah, they.
David Frere.
Richard Pryor, Robin Williams, but he had a reputation of like
Stealing jokes.
accidentally stealing jokes.
Accidentally.
It was accidental. Well, because he would never come up with his own routine.
Oops.
He would never come up with his own routine. He would just go out and riff. And Jim Carrey tried it for 9 months and was like, I don't know how he does it. Like he just riffs and just goes and like he's like you can't wrap your head around that. Like probably Jim Carrey would be another one.
Damn, I've never actually listened to Robin Williams or Jim Carrey.
What?
Jim Carrey is
They're
like
good, bro.
yeah, it's interesting to look at Jim Carrey's now. Like one of my favorite ones is he was like, hey, like he was like because he's like very like
Animated.
smiley. Yeah, he's animated, smiles like, hey, have you ever been in a threesome? And then the least attractive woman says, hey, save some for me. And just like
He's super talented. He goes on the list of people who are super fucking
Nah,
talented.
he's an alien,
It's like
bro.
him,
Jackie
Jackie Chan, Jamie Foxx,
Arnold
fucking.
Schwarzenegger? No.
Yeah.
Arnold.
What?
Arnold. No.
As one of the most talented people.
Yeah,
accomplished,
Accomplished, I guess.
Accomplished.
yeah. He's more accomplished.
incredibly accomplished. Yeah,
Man, I put Jim Carrey, Jackie Chan. I put Lil
As far
Wayne
as
up
far as
there.
You
like,
put Lil Wayne up there?
I put Lil Wayne up there. Talented, bro. He has a hit every decade.
One a decade.
around a
Okay.
decade.
I was talking
No,
more. I was
but
talking.
still.
I was talking more
So
like.
Drake is going pretty good.
I was talking more like complete entertainers, not
I'm talking
just
about
like.
Lil Wayne as well, bro.
But that's just music. I'm talking about complete entertainers and multiple.
To transcend through music for so many years is incredible, bro.
It
It's
is,
to
but
create the hit makers. He created Drake and Nicki Minaj. That's incredible.
Okay.
Got me there.
That's
I
incredible.
can't. I'm trying to think of
Well,
other.
he definitely wasn't in a Batman movie.
Was it? He was. In the cartoon anime, I was like,
Static Shock.
he is Static
Jim
Shock.
Carrey was the best Riddler on the face of
That's
the
true.
earth.
Yeah, he was incredible. Yeah,
He's on.
he was a really good wrestler.
Who else?
so you have one more, right?
Jackie Chan.
I'll also say Bill Burr because I think he
Okay.
I very much
speaks
like
to the
Bill Burr.
zeitgeist. I think a lot.
Bill Burr talking is a lot better than his stand up. Like his podcast when
His
he
podcasts
just
are great.
talk shit is way. Even though I do like his stand up, but like for
I love
example,
his stand-up.
like Kevin Hart, I'm not like a fan of his stand up, but when he just talks and riffs, he's fucking hilarious.
Kevin Hart?
Yeah, when he just talks. But his stand up, I've only seen his recent stand up. I haven't seen his old school stand up, which I heard is really good. But
Yeah,
his new
old
stand up seems like it's just geared to like. Everyone's here to see Kevin Hart, so I'm gonna go through my greatest hits.
It's for the world.
Yeah.
He doesn't do stand up for like people who. He does it for the world.
No, but that's what I'm
Everybody
saying.
making the world laugh.
Once you get to a point where you're like, you know,
They're too big.
Thinking about Dave Chappelle's little
Dave
skit,
Chappelle's
he did
really
that little
good,
thing
Kevin
about taking his son to Kevin Hart. So he's like, damn, mine's only 30, some stupid shit.
Yeah.
That was such a good.
Yeah.
Damn, Dave Chappelle to me, I think is top.
Dave
Patrice
Chappelle, yeah.
O'Neal.
He's really good. Yeah.
Yo, what about new comics? And I'm only thinking specifically of 2 specific comics that have come out.
Who?
And there's the
Bro,
fucking comics
there's-
which I always forget their names. Which are pretty.
this is like the
Live
golden
or
age
something.
for like.
Yeah, man.
comics.
I think we're like in the golden age of
Well,
comedy.
Just
Comedy's
because
dangerous
there's just-
again, right? Like, that's the expression. Comedy's dangerous again. So now it's like
Like-
there's a
I
life
don't know
into
what's
it.
going to say. You got.
So Andrew Schultz, specifically, one.
Yes.
He's one of my favorite, and I think he's going to be.
Penn State.
I think he's going to be a legend, like when he gets older.
Okay.
I think he's hilarious, son.
I think he's on a scandal.
Now what?
I think he's going to have a scandal.
Of what?
I don't know.
But
You
I
always
think
have
he'll-
it.
I think he's gonna fuck up.
But you expect that though, the comedians,
I think he's
right?
gonna fuck up.
You probably will, but that's okay.
I think he's gonna be.
He's going to suck.
Yeah, he's fucking gold. He's hilarious. And another person he hangs with, Akash Singh. He's an Indian guy. He's fucking hilarious. Who I like a lot of his jokes because he does a lot of the race jokes, but from a different perspective, which is very, very relatable. Clearly, fucking hilarious.
Who's the guy from Master of None?
I forgot his name.
Aziz
Aziz Ansari.
Not funny.
I saw his last. No, his last stand-up was good. His last stand-up was good.
Fuck him.
Did you watch it?
He's sure he's mean.
Did you watch it?
His
What
last
the
stand-up?
fuck if he's short and mean, son? We're talking about his
He didn't sign
art.
my autograph. I'm a hater private.
He didn't sign your
I
autograph?
didn't.
Why were you bothering him? What were you gonna do with the autograph?
You know,
Frame it.
You fucking fan?
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna frame it. Nah,
Stop shitting on him.
I didn't try to get it.
But his last stand-up was hilarious. I like that he did the. Did you watch it? He did this one thing about a
Maybe.
pizza. This one joke about a pizza. He was like, "Oh, this pizza that somebody posted on Facebook where the pepperonis were look like a swastika." And
Oh, that shit.
and then he
Yeah,
was, you didn't know about. So it was just like, yeah, you know,
It's a
and it's
thing,
just like
right?
half of the people said that it looked like it, half of it didn't. So who said it looked like a swastika? Half the people like raised their hand. Who said it didn't? And you know, other people raised their hand. And he's like, "You're all full of shit. I just made that up right now. Like that shit was not even a thing." And he put the entire audience on blast. And he was like, "Yo, I do this at multiple shows, and it always turns out the same. Like you guys are just looking for a reason to be triggered because he made up the entire fucking thing."
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's great comedy, son.
Yeah.
That is good comedy.
Right.
You can't argue that. No?
No, I don't think it's.
Whatever. You got
I
it.
think it's
No, I
good.
think it's.
I don't think so.
It highlights what?
I don't think so.
It's great in Parks and Recs too. You don't like Parks and Recs? Well, I wasn't delivering it the right way. I'm sorry that I'm not a comedian. Sorry to disappoint you.
You got
Whatever.
the gist.
I feel like you're just
I
looking
get
for a
the
reason
gist.
to be triggered. All right.
Is it?
Yeah, full circle.
So when it comes to sketch comedy, do you take inspirations from sketches or like
You want to know?
like for example, do you take inspiration from like Chappelle's show, Mad TV, Living Color? Like what is your favorite sketch show of all time?
Of all time?
What would you say personally? And I know it's hard.
301 views!
Oh my gosh.
301 views, baby!
It was a sketch team I was on. Yeah.
Oh.
We did some East Coast tours and some festivals and stuff. Yeah, I had a good time with them. But like in terms of inspiration, I think
The bass.
I don't know,
Right
because
comedy right after
like
this
Living
shit.
Color, like I kind of like grew up on that,
Mhm.
like so it was like a really big one. I remember like for like an audition, I was like 8 years old. I did the "Am I Black or White" Michael Jackson parody. Like I recorded it like on the TV and like sang
Oh,
that.
that's funny.
And like the director like was auditioning was like laughing and stuff like that. I didn't get the part, but I felt good. I felt really good doing it. You know, I felt really good.
That's good.
But yeah, like, probably like I don't know. Chappelle like is good, but I think that like I don't know. Like Mr. Show is actually like really good too. But there's also like really good like
Mr. Who?
Mr. Show was it was on HBO for a while, and what they were unique was they had very interesting transition pieces. So they take something very innocuous and use it to lead into another scene that you wouldn't expect. So like this weird wormhole thing going on where you would like someone like the scene would end with someone walking outside the door, and then it'll show like someone walking outside the door and falling down outside of a house, like what the fuck, and then it would just lead to like, all right, we're in front of the house, like putting the kids in the car, like doing something, and it would just lead to something very different. Like, so it kind of takes a bit from like Monty Python, I guess.
Okay. Okay, that makes
Not
sense.
answering the-
Almost died.
Yeah, almost died.
Sketch comedy? No,
But
so,
that's a tough one. I think like you just can't. It's hard to pick one. Like, I'll say Monty Python. How about that?
Sketch
Monty
Beats,
Python,
Monty
okay.
Python, Dave Chappelle, Mad TV.
No.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Monty
I
Python.
just gotta
That's
give
interesting.
examples because I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't know what sketch comedy is.
Yeah, sketch comedy would be something. It would be comedy scenes that are predetermined.
Yeah. If you've seen Chappelle's show, sketch comedy, Key and Peele, sketch comedy.
Kim Deal sketch comedy. Yeah.
There's so many other listeners to this.
Yeah. So those are all fantastic shows too. It's hard to pick one, but I think there's something that you always want something that's really pushing it for the time that it's in. You know, and I think Dave Chappelle
Yeah, he was
on the
that.
mountain
He was that
before that.
dude. Like he was like the one who carried the torch for a hot minute.
Yeah, like for 3 years.
For 2
Like,
seasons.
everyone would say, like,
Yeah, but
Big
like
Fish,
people were talking
you
about
know?
it for how many years? Like no show even came sort of close to
They
that.
still
sort
talking
of-
right now.
Yeah,
They talk about the Prince skit. Somebody was telling me about the Prince skit recently.
yeah, it was me.
Okay.
Right here.
Was it on the base?
No, it was.
I'm fucked up with
No, it was in the group chat.
Recording and everything.
It was Mickey
gotcha.
Free. Mickey Free
Yeah,
was
he said-
present.
Yeah.
And then he was on Vlad TV talking
Yeah, we
about
played
like,
it.
oh yeah, that fucking story is true, like exactly how he said it. It's
Yeah.
like what happened.
I was
Like
on-
even the blueberry pancakes was real.
I was
Like,
on Twitter and he stopped his show during like the middle of the show to shoot a basketball into a hoop.
that's hilarious.
And then the way he passed the ball off to somebody else was real mad. Like it was real basketball. First of all, he picked the ball up, spun it on his finger while he was singing and shit, and he shot it, caught the ball, and threw it back, and he just kept singing. Like just went straight into the performance seamlessly. So it was like, yeah, he probably was really that's
balling,
doing
yeah.
him ball, bro.
That's funny.
He's like,
That shit is fucking hilarious.
Prince playing basketball is crazy, bro.
Yeah, apparently his brother was a basketball player. So
His brother Michael Jordan.
There we are.
yeah,
There we are.
man.
What's next?
What's next?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think that I hit everything I wanted.
He's going to dance battle.
I mean, well, yeah,
Oh yeah, you got a dance battle.
Yeah.
So do
Man,
you
wind
still
blowing.
so like do you still plan on pursuing dance or including dance in any of your
No, fuck that. Fuck that.
like
question.
anything?
What do you like?
No, I want that question
No,
answered.
I'm gonna include your question, but aside from just dance, like what do you want to do moving forward in general, like
In general.
the whole umbrella?
I mean, there's a lot of things I want to do. Like, so, like, the reason for the MBA is to get a better handle on investment banking and investment decision making.
In front of base.
Fund to pay. Well, so venture capital is actually what I want to do. Is I want to hedge fund that does long short equities, but also deals in venture capital.
You got your data guy.
Yeah, I got a data
You got
guy.
your engineer.
We should have got him saying something.
I built
incriminating
everything
so we
for
can
you.
hold
So
it
one of your
over
ideas,
his head.
I still think about, like, I have it on my
Oh,
list.
he still thinks about it.
I still think about what
yeah,
ideas,
last
like,
time we
it's on
linked
my
up,
list.
we spoke mad ideas.
Yeah, I still have it. And I'm like, oh, that's like really good. Like, I'd like to see it
Damn.
come through.
That's we
never
gotta
take
talk
Jose's
because I
ideas
know
seriously.
Jose
I don't tell
and
you my ideas.
Hector
Like
too.
Oh yeah.
Hector he actually currently works for
What was that?
a hedge fund.
Yeah. All right.
Jose.
He works for Jose. No, he
Hedge
actually
fund.
does like
Hedge
he works for a hedge fund right now.
Sorry,
So that'd be
hedge fund.
good.
Yeah. Like,
And he was on the show too, so you should
All right,
link
yeah,
you
cool.
guys for sure.
yeah, that's I mean, like, there's a bird lens when it comes to hedge funds now.
Yeah.
So it's like, do they do?
A hedge fund could be anything at this point.
Is
Almost
there like a theme or like when you say could you just explain like exactly what a hedge fund is?
Okay,
like,
sure,
I guess your
yeah.
vision for what you want to start.
Yeah. So the hedge fund essentially is an investment firm that uses investment tactics that the goal is to make money on both sides of the trade. So they want to make money. So if you're buying a stock, they want to be able to buy another stock that's like quote unquote not correlated. So that way they can go up at the same time, while at the same time they offset one another. So if one goes down, the other one goes up. And so you have to put a lot of bets in place and
That sounds like
contracts
just
and-
making like a diversified portfolio.
Yeah.
Or is it a little bit more?
But it's more active.
That
And
it's
so
different. Yeah.
It's more active. Like there are options, like contracts and derivatives, things that like. So you have a portfolio. So every person in a hedge fund, like when they run a portfolio or a book, they are given X amount of money, call it 100 million, because these are the volumes you deal with when you're talking about hedge funds. And then they say, okay, like we want you to get 25% return for the year. All right. Well, on a good year, really good year, the market does 20%. On average, it does between 7 and 10%. So now you're asking me to do double returns of what the market does. And so now I have to take on more risk and buy more individual stocks and individual contracts. But then I can't have that much risk because if it goes down, like all our investors are going to be pissed and like sue us. And so I have to create a hedging strategy that offsets those risks, and they can make money on both sides. And even if one goes down, the other one can still go up, and they kind of cancel out each other and do it at a level that's very efficient. So there's very low cost associated with that. So that's what a hedge fund would be.
Are there like a large percentage of billionaires or like really, 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 really wealthy people that work for hedge funds? It's like supposedly like a really good way, but like
if you're a billionaire and working hedge funds, it's your hedge fund more than likely.
Well, so some billionaires will, for SEC purposes, will classify their family office or their company as a hedge fund. So they get an SEC number that designated as a hedge fund, but they operate as, say, a family office or something like that, or something that's more proprietary. Where it's just the one investor, and he has his own thing.
So basically, they have so much money that
they start their own hedge fund.
That according to the SEC, which governs basically, let's just say, financial dealings in the U.S.
markets, yeah.
Like, they're basically a company. Like what a lot of people will do is that they'll have family offices, so they'll have basically, you know how you have like a broker dealer or whatever, they manage people's assets. You have so much money that you have that for you.
Yeah.
Like just
essentially, yeah.
Like, and a lot of people do that. They'll have family offices. There'll be a specific company that exists just to manage someone's money,
exactly,
or a family's money, or a group of families' money.
Yeah. So it might be like, for example, like the Rockefeller, family fund is designated, I think, as I forget if it's a hedge fund or if it's a family office, but they have to designate themselves a certain way, so that way they're allowed to take a lot of risk because they have so much money. They can really they make markets. They don't even move markets. They make markets. Like they could buy up an entire market, And so, like for example, like Zuckerberg could buy the scientific publishing industry globally. He could buy it out with his wealth, And so to prevent monopolies, SEC steps in and say, okay, well you can't quite do that, and we can let you take on more risk than necessary because you have the capital to be able to do that, but we can't do it in a way that you're actually destroying markets because that affects people. So there's a hand-holding process when it comes to setting up entities like that. Yeah. So, but the primary function of it would be to provide returns, but also fund companies that are, I guess disruptive, or things that are good that should already be out there as well. I like to define that. So like
billionaires got babysitters too.
They do. They do.
So you start this hedge fund, right? You make all this money.
Yeah.
We make all this money, and then
we make. So that's the point of it. Is we make.
We make all this money. So
I like things that you know. We make all this money.
Is the idea? Well, clearly, everybody wants money so they can live a very comfortable life. You think they want,
sure.
But do you want that income to pursue other passion projects and stuff like that, or
you crack, bro? Speak to yourself.
Crack. He's like, haha, we're rich. We don't do crack. It's cocaine.
It's cocaine. We get it from a doctor.
Cocaine.
We got our jobs from a doctor.
Parasites.
I guess I'd still do it, but I'd want to own a soccer club would be one of the things. Yeah.
That's how he self-reflected. He went from football to soccer.
Yeah. No, he's I'm gonna buy Manchester United.
I wish,
just because.
I own the stock. I wish I could buy it now, but they're trying to sell it to the Saudis right now. That's the thing.
Didn't they buy out a whole bunch of soccer teams and just put their logos on it? There's two competing countries that are that buy a lot of soccer
Emirates.
teams.
Emirates.
Middle East, UAE.
Not expensive. One of the soccer teams the net income is you receive money for one of the soccer teams.
Yeah, it's more of it should be treated more like a utility because it's a function for the community, and so you're not going to the Manchester United is a club I support, and it's a good example because the Glazer family who owns the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What they did a very 1980s style takeover of it. What they did is they bought the club, and then they loaded it with debt, and then they're slowly taking money out to recoup the cost of the lending, right? But they're only keep putting enough money in to keep the debts sustainable, and so they're trying to take their money out and then sell it to someone else. But a company, there's only a few places that will buy a club that they value at. I don't think it's appropriately valued at $20 billion for the club. Yeah, who's going to pay that? Some Petrostate is going to buy that.
Yeah,
think it's over. Like that's an overvaluation of they're going to get it, and it's way too levered, and the cost for the borrowing the debt is way too expensive. And
That's a crazy way to just like try to flip something.
yeah, like
Like they're just trying to flip a team.
Some people flip
Like,
cars, some people flip companies.
Yeah.
that's what they do. They're flipping a whole club. You know, so
And I mean, if you're going to flip something that, whose nation states are the only ones are going to have the money to buy that, and why not, the Emirates, because they're the most likely to buy that shit.
Yeah, and it's a passion project too, because it's one thing also too is to gain favor with a mass of people like you own the club. Though there's a lot of problems with that. Like Arsenal is owned by an American billionaire. Manchester City is owned by another petrostate. Same thing with PSG is owned by a petrostate. Newcastle United in England, like they're owned by a billionaire. He just ran into the ground. Same thing with I mean, there's so many clubs that have the similar scenario. Billionaire comes in, buys it, leverages the fuck out of it, and then takes the profits and then leaves it in debt.
The one thing I was thinking about was I don't know the specific companies that keep buying out like soccer teams more to change their image, because I guess they don't got a good image, and I guess they're using the association of like soccer with their name in order to like
Red Bull.
Football.
Yeah, in a sense, but it's like apparently like there's two specific places or countries that are just buying out a bunch of teams, and it's just like they brought up the thing. It's just like they're gonna have too much influence over soccer.
Like there's exactly that. Like
Football.
like the Emirates, like you'll see on a lot of like football kits, like it says like Fly Emirates on it. Like
That's one of them. Which is the other one?
So it's United Arab Emirates, and then what's the other one? I should know this.
That's how everybody's wearing that jersey?
It's just the thing. Well, I mean, like
I see it often.
Yeah, you see it all, like because it's like Arsenal, I think has it. I think like Manchester City might have Emirates as well.
Was it AC Milan? Did they have that too?
AC Milan, they might have it. Yeah, like there's a lot of companies that have that. I think Real Madrid had it as well too, or something. But yeah, it's a very like popular thing. But there's another state. I don't know if you're talking about that. They own PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, the big French club. But yeah, but that's like a trend. Well, also they have to diversify the portfolios because oil is drowning right now. They need to get the money out of the ground, and so they keep just putting it in diversified investments and football.
Yeah, that whole region is completely dependent on oil. And
Yeah,
it's crazy. It makes sense why they buy like even inflated like sports teams.
Doesn't matter.
It's just like it doesn't matter. We just need to turn our money to something different.
Yeah, Saudi Aramco is a $1 trillion company that no one knows about, and so they just need to get the money out. Like you said, in a portfolio that they can bank on. Like, all right, well, now we have a diverse, wealth fund that now we can help, give social programs to people so they don't cut our heads off.
Exactly.
We need to keep cutting their heads off. We can't let them cut our heads off.
Exactly.
So after the soccer team, sketch comedy group.
Yeah, I'd like to do something like that.
Wait, that's after the soccer team?
Well, okay,
At the same time.
I mean,
He's like, yo,
at the same time.
we bought a soccer team. All right, let's do some sketch comedy.
Well, I'd like to
make fun of the shit.
Make people laugh.
So actually,
Yeah, like what?
And a whole soccer stadium.
I would really like
That's
to
funny.
do a dance company that also focuses on comedy. Yeah,
Funny dance.
Yeah,
funny,
comedy.
but that's not hokey. It uses movement to tell a story, but it's not hokey. It's not corny.
So it's like a new genre almost.
Yeah,
Because I haven't seen, you'll see dance injected into different things, but you haven't seen something completely
but that dance is a prop, and that's something it's something I play with an undergrad, and it's very hard to do. It's very hard to get something where it's movement based and there's no words, and you have to understand what's going on pretty quickly because that's the thing about comedy is you can go in, the first line can be the premise, and that's perfectly okay. It's even better because now we know what's going on. Now we know what to expect. Dance, you have to kind of figure it out, or you have to read the thing. And now you have these different mediums that are playing. If you don't read it, how do you know what's going on? It's too much to do. But if a funny dance company would be something that I would like, that incorporates comedy. And yeah, there'll be some sketch comedy too, really, be a didactic in its approach, but still get the point across. So yeah, so maybe that might come first, and that might be a much less expensive endeavor to do that. Yeah, that'd be the passion part. Because I learned in the business of dance class I took at UCLA, they really put it out there, the people who run these arts programs and like down at the arts and things like
Yeah.
that, are all these CEOs of like Coca-Cola and Ford. Like, all right, so you want to make an influence in the arts? Like, get some money. Like, forget all your dance and all that kind of like all that like foo-foo stuff. Like, get money. Like, put your stuff on. Be your CEO. Figure a way to make money at it. Be profitable. Because now business people get involved with, oh, you're making money in your art. All right, we can talk, or we can you can speak that same language. Like, that was a very, if I learned nothing else, that's what I learned. Is like, figure out a way to make money, and then people listen to you.
I don't know if that's uplifting or depressing.
Sketch dancing. So we got a hedge fund, then sketch dancing, soccer team.
Yeah.
The bass.
The bass, yeah.
The idea we were talking about last time we showed up.
Yep.
What else? Business intelligence company.
Yeah, business intelligence. A good
Oil
one.
and gas.
Oil and gas one, yeah. I don't know. I guess like I guess it would be ignoring the political because I feel like every like wealthy person has a political voice, or I mean you can have lots of people combined to create one political voice, or you can have a wealthy individual also create a political voice. And I think that I'm more of a moderate. You know, like it depends on the day of the week. Like sometimes I'm more fervent in some opinions, and like I like it. Like I like NBA.
Fervent.
And like I like universal basic.
Oh, yang yang.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
Yeah. I mean, I think
Name of the episode, fervent.
yeah, capitalism where everyone has a base. Like you look at it, every video game you start out with some money. They don't give you no money in like a video game. Like everyone should have like something to start out, like so we can take risks and actually.
Except
But in
Skyrim.
video games, you can kill.
Except Skyrim.
You
Might
can
have
kill wolves
like-
and get cash.
You can kill wolves and get cash. Why can't you?
And
do
spiders, and they give you money.
Yeah.
Like, spiders and fucking wolves get
Let's
money.
do that. It's somewhat productive. Like,
Yeah.
So I think.
I mean, there's a way to make money.
Yeah, and but I think that if you increase velocity of money, which is the measurement of money changing from one hands to the other, if you increase the velocity of money and the scope of the velocity of money, where more people in more areas are changing more money quickly, like that's good for economies as a whole, because it just means that more people are having money pass through them in some way.
They're
There's
doing
more
stuff.
trade, the more
They're
doing
doing
stuff, the more productive, like, and you can just take the risks knowing that, okay, I might have a bad month, maybe a bad 2 months, but I know I'll catch up in like the third month or whatever. Like I have some sort of floor that I can like be okay with. Some bumper rails, if you will.
That's interesting, because that goes into a lot of things that we probably couldn't even cover, but it's like, that's an interesting way of framing it. Just having a floor sort of allows people to take risks, because now you're sort of in a situation where people, can't really afford to take risks.
Yeah, I mean, right
know.
now there's a metric for entrepreneurship, and it's one of the lowest it's ever been. And we're really dependent as an economy for the wealthy gatekeepers to invest this venture capital in these certain ideas that get a lot of inflation because of so-and-so said, oh, we're talking about a big game for Casper, which has like never been profitable. WeWork, which is still not profitable, but people like are doing IPOs and putting lots of money in it, expecting it to
Mad companies are barely profitable.
and
Netflix, like shit like that.
yeah, it's a big overvaluation, and I don't think that it's sustainable. We're already seeing a correction right now, but that's for other reasons.
Can you be too big to fail?
Yes.
Amazon.
No, you can't be too big to fail. No.
You can't.
What about
You're only quote unquote too big to fail. People won't bail you out. You're
I think at that point it's a political wager. I think it's not an economic wager. I think it's a political wager. I think that you depend on the institutions or industry to be the gatekeepers because you trust it. I don't think it's so much they're a good function for society. Like for the banks, I think it is a good thing to do that, but at the same time, like if they fail, the banks will learn a lesson. Oh, we can't ever do that again. It might make a strong banking system.
I think it's a bad precedent to set, especially during the financial crisis, how the banks are bailed out. It just sets a bad precedent because it gives them, like you said, gives them ideas. Like no matter how much you fuck up, no matter how much you make bad bets, no matter how poorly you act, at the end of the day, there'll be a saving grace. Right? CEOs are still making money. The economy's fucked up, but there's really no consequence. No one's going to jail for it. No one's losing money.
Yeah.
It's like it does set a poor precedent. I'd rather go through the pain that will go through, let's say, a large bank, let's say like a Wells Fargo, whoever failing. I think that's better for the long term rather than, because the pieces get picked up eventually.
Yeah, but then it's a hard thing to, on the flip side, if you have, let's just say the banks fail, okay, well now lots of people's money is gone and it's out of the system, it's evaporated essentially, and now you have more angry people because, now they can't go anywhere, and you have also no money to help recoup. Because that money's gone, because the web is so spread out that people had money everywhere. All the banks were lending to other people or to other banks and so forth. And so, if you take out a few pockets, okay, well this wealth is gone. Now the crater is expanded as a whole. And so, while I understand and I know I said it might have been a good thing to let them fail. I think as a whole, I think the way to rebuild it has to be improved because a lot of the Trump and Bernie stuff, I think, stems from that. Is that there's no cosmic justice, if you will, for the people who lost their people who lost their homes.
Life is one big cosmic joke.
Yeah,
people lost their homes, and then they're there's no recoup.
There's no recoup for them. So we have a bailout for the banks. We don't have anything for them, and I think that's the impetus of the anger from Trump and Bernie.
Yeah.
And it's
Do you think people think about that when I guess people start thinking about, or when politicians throw out the idea of student loans being forgiven? Do you think people think about specifically Wall Street being bailed out for all that money?
I mean,
I think some people may make the connection.
I do. I specifically do.
If they were around for
I'm
that
specifically
time.
thinking about that because I think about that because I'm these motherfuckers get bailed out, and it's just we have mad people in debt. That they can use that extra money to put into other companies, you get me, as opposed to having these unfair. Well, because I felt I was taking advantage of when I didn't have anyone to co-sign for me for my loans and stuff like that. So I'm speaking from a very selfish point.
But I mean, to your point, I was 31 when I paid off my student loans, and I had that with help, from my parents helped me out. That wouldn't have happened, and I didn't even borrow a lot, but it still took me, almost 10 years to and plus extra help to be able to pay it off.
Yeah.
And I was cars don't even cost that much when it comes to the lending of that.
Yeah.
You can't file for bankruptcy. And I think there's a sense of cosmic revenge even. Not even justice, it's revenge. I want, you owe me. You're gonna pay me back, for what you took from me, which is there's all the reports why aren't millennials buying homes and buying cars and stuff like this?
With what money?
Yeah, with money. We have all this
what money?
And the jobs
I'm sure we could buy a house in Youngstown, Ohio.
Pennsylvania.
But who lives? but you have to move to Youngstown, Ohio.
Yeah, and so then you have to build up Youngstown to be what you want it to be, and that's an arduous stuff. But maybe that's what it takes. But you see that in little enclaves and pockets throughout the country, like Nashville and Austin, I think.
Yeah, Austin, Nashville for sure.
How do you finance people? What do you think about cryptocurrency?
Finance.
Finance.
Where do you think that's going to go? Or Bitcoin, if the Bitcoin example.
I don't know what people think about. I don't think the market understands what those cryptocurrencies are. Is it a currency or is it a commodity? Are we trading it for profit or are we using it for a means of purchase as a short-term duration?
When I see the way people could use it, I feel like it's just like a stock. You just buy some Bitcoin when it's worth more American dollars or whatever currency you're trying to trade it into. You just trade it. I feel like it's just like a stock.
So there's market events. But
yeah.
I want to speak more on that.
You could buy stuff with it, but
I guess it's similar. I would compare it more to a commodity than stock because stock,
or whatever, same shit.
Valuation mechanisms and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Really speculative when it comes to commodity. We don't know what looks like orange juice.
Because stocks are pieces of companies that produce stuff, right?
Yeah.
Gold doesn't produce anything. Bitcoin doesn't produce anything. It just is.
Studies and gold diggers. But yeah, keep
on. What? But anyway.
Gold produces.
But I think
the valuation is speculative, and I think that's different.
Yeah, I think the blockchain. I think the blockchain itself is way more important than
Cosign.
Bitcoin or whatever. I think cryptocurrencies, even though people talk about them, they're still largely a niche thing, right? I think once blockchain becomes like a common thing that we use, that's when crypto is really going to be like more of a mainstream, like part of our life. Because we all know what Bitcoin is, but like most people don't know what Bitcoin. They just kind of know what it is. They just think it's this thing that exists online. And you pay people with it. You buy drugs with it. Like that's what people think of it. It's still like a niche thing. I think once the blockchain catches on, which is
I think
way
I think
more
that's the
important.
only thing of value because it's like.
I wouldn't say it's the only thing, but I think it's the main thing.
Okay, whatever.
It is the main thing.
Just because like that technology pretty much is. Well, I wouldn't say guarantees unless you have another computer from an alien world that's more powerful. But you have to have more power than the entire network combined in order to like scheme on a transaction or something like that. So I think that's extremely
It's like 51 computers like working 17, or who knows actually how many there are, but and you have to corrupt all of them. You have to corrupt the exchange itself. You can't corrupt an individual account, and like which takes a lot of firepower.
Yeah.
Based on what I know. What do I know though?
I mean, I think it's interesting because
I don't know anything.
What the fuck is talking about? Right, go ahead.
No, it's interesting how, I mean, U.S. government already is trying to find a way to, tax people on their Bitcoin holdings. It's funny watching financial markets and just see how they're going to take hold of this thing because I think they understand that, like, once blockchain becomes a thing, it's like they're, I think the underlying idea of Bitcoin is finding a way to transact money without, a central body. I think, that's definitely a real thing. I just don't think we're at the point where it's like, it's not terribly meaningful if you're, like it's not going to compete with the dollar or any sort of sovereign currency, but like as the blockchain catches on and as it becomes more accessible and as people learn about it, like I think it's going to become more of a thing. I have no idea how it's going to turn out.
I came up with the next idea, Basecoin. And
yo,
it's a cryptocurrency.
This man's a salesman.
And everything, all the coins are going to have the little S symbol on it.
He's like, yo, we're going to have base coin, we're going to have base wine, we're going to have base fucking electric
chicken,
cars,
baby.
base
Base
chicken, base sketch comedy. It's over.
Base tampons, everyone.
Base tampons, yo.
Everyone's gotta buy them.
Base condoms.
Base.
Yo, put it in the base.
Work extra hard.
Hey, work extra hard.
Want to feel secure?
What do you do when you go back to the base? What do you do?
Fuck. Wrap it up for
And that's the base.
So yeah, like, do you have any parting words for us? Is there anything?